Hello, my fellow weirdos. I would like to ask a question first. How many of you have ever worked on election day, like worked in a polling place? You know, the people that check you in and give you your ballot and stuff, those sitting at those tables. Or if you've worked on voting days, because there's more than just election day, there's early voting days. Um, how many of you have worked something like where you go from polling place to help, something like that? First of all, work in the elections, you make money. They pay you for it. Now, it can be a 16-hour day because most polls, now things change a little from state to state, but um, basic things are the same. I'm just curious how many of you have worked them. And the reason I'm asking is this whole election rigged thing would not even be an issue from the start if everybody took a class on how elections work. And before you be like, oh, just chill, okay? When you work the elections, you have had to have gone to an election, and it's about a 2-hour class, maybe, I think, something like that. And you don't get paid for it. Shut up. Enough with the American shit of, I ain't doing nothing if I'm not getting paid. Shut up. You're getting informed, and you'll get a voter registration. That's what I'm looking at. Once we get rid of this whole Donald shit, or we get a majority in the House and Senate and stuff, before that, either time. What happens when you have to go to a class for elections? You have to have a class within a year of, like, I won't have to take one next month because I've already got my polling place assignment. I won't have to take that thing because I already took the class. I think it was like in October or something like that for the presidential election. So I'm still good, and I won't have to take the class for also June and November's elections. But for the following one, I'll have to take the class. Now, yeah, I've gone through it well over a dozen times. And some of it's like, only because I've been through it a dozen times and I know the information. But each state does change just a little bit. The supplies they're using, the machine, whatever it is. Like some will allow people to take pictures in the polling place, some won't. Some will allow you even to take it in as you're voting, some won't. Like Jersey doesn't even let it in the polling area while you're online at all. No cameras. The thing is, it teaches you how elections work. It teaches you the procedures, and that's so that you understand where your job is in that long election procedure thing. But it tells you about all these, like when they said, oh, they were pulling out these cartons and all this, and we were passing it was a USB. A USB drive? What the fuck? You don't even use anything with USB. In fact, it's only been recently that we haven't done the book where you actually write and print the name, sign the name in a book. It was on those e-readers. It's electronic, and then you just flip it over and let them, you hit whatever, flip it and let them sign it there. Not all of them are doing that yet at this point. You would have known when they first made the accusations about the boxes. You would have known when they made the accusation about, oh, it was a zip trap. you know, or a thumb drive or whatever they said it was, terminology wise. You don't use those at all. Nobody, they're of no use. That there's nothing there. There's no way one of the workers could make use of any kind of thing, you know? There's no way. That's why I didn't go take the garbage out yet, because the lawnmowers are coming now. I have to wait till they're done before I can do that, because anyway, so you would have known that that wasn't even something that's part of, even if they were passing a zip drive, like kind you carry on your keys. Maybe she had some kids, pictures of the kids, and was giving it to her mom or something like that. Even if it was, and it wasn't, but even if it was, there's no way you can use that. And if you had this class at least once in your life, you effing know. So, even if it was, and it wasn't, you would know why those boxes were where they were. All the shit that they have been blowing for 5 years now, I said from the start, bullshit. Because I know how elections work and the things that are similar or the same in all states. And the procedure type thing is pretty much the same. It's just the different rules. Can you have it? Can you do this? Those kind of things. It's discretionary for the state. Jersey just thinks that they're really trying to preserve your privacy. And so they don't want people just putting pictures up and such like that. A lot of states don't have it as a holiday. And if it was a national holiday, people would be able to all vote one day, and you wouldn't have to worry. Now, working it's a 16-hour day. Most polls open about 6 in the morning, and they usually don't close till like 8 at night. So that's already a 14-hour day. You've got to get there at least an hour before. So you have to be there by 5 o'clock, because it takes a while to get everything set up, the tables, the chairs, all the different readers, all the voting booths, all hooked up properly. All that stuff is not done by the teams that deliver go through different. There's a team that delivers them all like at 4 in the morning or 3 in the morning to all the different polling places, and they're just all piled up. All the machinery, you have to put it all up. You have to put the screen up, the curtain up. You have to do test ballots. You have to hook everything up, plug everything in, get everything out. With the readers, the whole spiel. You have to do all of that. Somebody has to get all the signs up, no electioneering, 70, whatever it is, 75 feet, 150 feet, know that you have to get the signs on where to show, from like the street voting and then arrows, right? So you can find the place and stuff like that. That all has to be done before 6 in the morning. So you have to be there like 5. And you don't get out till the last shits, and you have to pack everything back up. And that takes an hour. So if you've already got a 14-hour day, you've got at least a 16-hour day. Because you've got 14 hours where your polls are open. You're tired. It's a long damn day. In Jersey, you get 300 for that. And you get it 30 days after the election. So, it's a lot of work, and if you figure in, the grass smells good, that's why I didn't do any of the digging or planting, because I knew they'd be cutting it. I'm just not sure if they're gonna trim those shrubs. One of the reasons why you haven't seen the squirrels videos very often, by the way, is because that bush is so overgrown. Sometimes they don't even realize I've got the peanuts out. But my thought is that if everybody from here on, out, anybody who registers to vote, before you get your card issued to you, you're required to take that class. You don't take it any other time unless you're going to work the elections. I believe that if you're taught that from the time you vote the first time, it'll be a lot more, it'll be a lot harder to do what the Republicans have done for the last 5 years and claim rigging and fraud. Because if you know what I know and what everybody else who works the elections knows, because we've been to the class, that's what the shit that they said isn't even possible. Like the zip drive. No, nothing I've used. I've used 4 different systems between Arizona and here. A decade ago, 2 decades ago, there and here. Okay? And they're the same, no zip. Even with the e-readers, you don't need, there's nothing to plug into, what's the purpose of that? None. You would be skeptical because you had the class if they tried to pull that bullshit lie on us. I'm just so irritated right now because, and I said that after the election, I said if everybody had to take this damn class, you have to take a driver's test. You have to take an eyesight, a written, and a road test to get a driver's license. Fuck. At least you're not even being tested. You're just being informed. 2 damn hours to get the privilege, You just don't hand somebody a license for something and not... It's like, what's this? Oh, it's your voting... Well, what do I need to know? Well, maybe how the system works would be a start, I mean, if you're going to vote, you should know how it works. And I think taking 2 hours out of your effing life to learn that would behoove everybody. And we wouldn't have to be dealing with this bullshit now. And we wouldn't have him elected again because you would know the truth of what happens, and you wouldn't have backed him and said, yeah, they probably cheated. Oh my God, dear Lord. And that class is bipartisan. I guarantee there'll be a significant amount of people that are consider themselves MAGA if they actually went to that class and saw how it's worked. They would understand that it's just a big, fat, liar, pants on fire. Let me know how many. Tell me, please. Just say I have or I haven't. If you've ever been to that class. And if you have, do you also feel that people would not be quite as stupid when they vote or after the vote to believe the stupid shit or the stupid shit beforehand? There's no way those machines can switch anything. Now you can add shit and then take it away, you know what I mean? So there's traces, like we saw with their fraud of the last election, which actually was. You didn't see Democrats having other countries calling in bomb threats to the right-leaning polling places at any time, did you? But they did that the last election. It was only in Democrat-heavy swing states. What a coincidence. Okay, they're coming around again, so I'm going to say, let me know if you've ever worked the elections or if you've ever just taken the class. Sometimes you have to take the class, and you're a standby in case somebody gets sick or something last minute, and then you still have the class. So you might not have actually done the working of the election, but you still have had the class, which is still a benefit to you. Let me know if you have, and if you found this helpful or funny or whatever, give me a subscribe, and have a great day. As soon as these guys get done, the trimmers will come around with the weed eaters, and hopefully the bush loppers will come. Anyway, have a great day, guys. And I do hope that this gave you a little bit of an information, or maybe an interest to even have the class. And then, oh, that was the other thing I was going to say. For the people that already have a voter registration, I'd like to do this for all new voter type of things. For everybody that already has a voter registration, I think if they've ever worked elections, they get crossed off because they've had it at least one time. Anybody that hasn't just needs to go before, it's like flagged or something. You need to go to those classes before you vote again. I mean, that's not asking too much. Republicans will probably scream and yell about it. But because they don't want people to learn, they want dumb people. Because dumb people believe, or people that are programmed to think a certain way, it actually, I'm not going to say it's good or bad, because that's a lot of wiggle room in between. I think everybody should know how they work. At least a very basic, loose idea. It would stop a lot of the misconceptions, and it would stop a lot of the lies that are told, because they get away with it because they say it convincingly. And if you've never gone to the class, if you don't know really how they work, other than I tell them my name, I sign, and I vote. No, that's not the voting process, guys. That's your voting process. That's the individual voting. But that's not the entire voting process, okay? And if you knew how it worked, you even have to have the same amount of Republican as Democrat to make sure it's fair. That's why you have to be either a Democrat, one of the main parties, which are two in this country, because they want to make sure that, when everybody was closed, maybe they were cheating or taking things out or getting rid of ballots. You can't do that because they're counted, and you have to have the same amount that you had when you started. There is no way just to dump ballots and it's not effing noticed. There is no way. People voted and then you just get rid of those. There's no way to do that. So, take an elections class just for your own knowledge. Peace out. I love you guys. I love you that you listen to these long ass ranting things, but it's really not a rant. I'm trying to give information in a short form, condensed, a bunch of stuff. So, peace out, guys.